Hey you guys, how you doing? This is Real Talk, and I'm coming to you with a quickie here. It just dawned on me. I just woke up, and I've been feeling kind of sick. That's why I was coughing on my last video. Kind of feeling under the weather, so I'm gonna make this one quick. Want to touch on a couple of things and then bounce. In this one, we're going to talk about the fact that they're already starting to shut down the food stamp program, the SNAP program, which ultimately is going to affect, a lot of the welfare people, people that are considered low lifes and scum by the working class. Because, the elites are telling the working class, you're working for that lazy bum over there. But what the working class, because he doesn't have time, because he's working constantly, they're cracking the whip on that poor guy, doesn't have time to read the laws and read what's going on. So now they've started this in January of this year, 2016, and they're kind of shutting things off, testing things. Let's shut it off for a couple, for 2 weeks or a week or something, and then let's see what happens. And they're making their test. I'm gonna leave a bunch of links in the description so you can go see the actual videos of the ones I'm referencing in this video. I really don't like using their videos because you already know how I feel about that. I'm going to share a couple of little things with you, but just know that first off, this is not legal advice. I'm just some dude talking. And you try to use this stuff as soon as possible, because at any given time, as soon as it hits the airwaves, they can go change it. They can go make changes to block you again. And, that's kind of what they love doing that. That's why the only changes they can't really make is to the Bible, but they're trying to do that with that Mandela effect crap. But that's a separate topic. Okay. Going back to the homeless now, they're basically cutting people off left and right, and I'm gonna go ahead and extend this out to the homeless people, or to the welfare people that need food stamps, because you got to feed your children. Oh, and by the way, okay, well I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, this is Food Research and Action Center. Okay, I typed this in and I found this is the one that I used when I was on assistance, but I cut it off. I cut them off. A year ago I wasn't doing as well as I am now. So that's kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is. Okay, and I want you to take a look. When is someone considered homeless? You're considered homeless under the SNAP food stamp program if you have no fixed regular place to sleep at night. The place you sleep at night is one of the following. And the one I want you to take a look at, the third bullet. The home of someone else if you are there less than 90 days. Okay, so what does that say? Okay, and this falls under, so technically, if you're homeless, you're exempt. They have to give you food stamps. They can't deny you, okay? Because now they're cutting off all the exemptions. But also, what they're doing is, that's why they're having you fill out all the papers every month. They keep harassing you every month. You got to do this. You got to do, yeah. Because you have a little something. You have just enough so they can keep harassing you every month. When I applied, I knew the law. I came in there, I asked my worker, boom, I fall under this one right here, bam. Well, where are you staying? I'm homeless. So where do you stay at? I stay over there on the street, over there by X Street, in whatever town you're in. The one I would use, if you have children, if you had, babies, you use the third bullet. The home of someone else, and you're there less than 90 days, so that's 3 months. So you move, quote unquote, move every 89 days. You can technically be homeless the whole entire year, don't have to fill out any of the paperwork, and get your stamps, get the help that you need, in this crisis, because it's hard with your babies. I'm a man. I have, some injuries, like physical injuries, but then I got to go to their doctors and then jump through all their hoops. I'm not doing all that. This is what I used for myself, and it worked like a champ. They didn't bother me all year, and then just this last month when they started cutting off the food stamps, they're trying to get me to resign their contract. That's what I'm telling you. I didn't know a year ago what I know now about the Social Security number. Once I found that out, I can't use that number. That number's not mine. It belongs to the birth certificate, and I'm not a birth certificate. I'm a man. It's defined in Genesis 1:26. Okay? This is how it's all tied together. I'm telling you, you got to read that Bible, read the Constitution, and read these codes. So based on their own code here, based on their own rules under 7 CFR 271.2, actually that's a homeless individual, definition of homeless individual. This other one falls under a different one. People experiencing homelessness are eligible for SNAP and food stamps, even if they, whatever, streets do not have a mailing address. See, they have to help you. They're bound by their own rules. But you got to know what they are. You see, study, learn, So this could be a way temporarily, because they're gonna keep harassing you, and if you don't know the law, and then you have children that you got to tend to, and you don't really have time to go studying and all. I understand that it's hard especially if you have more than one child. They're running around and they got energy, and you don't necessarily have the energy to keep up with them and all that stuff. It's pretty hectic, honestly. But I hope this helps out some of the folks that are experiencing all this shutdown of SNAP. If it helps or not, I don't know. And then now that I've put it out into the public, they may change this and mess it all up, because they have a tendency to do that. And another thing, don't call your children kids. Okay, don't call them a kid, because this is what you're doing when you're calling them a kid. A kid definition, a young goat. You're calling your son or your daughter a goat, and by calling them a goat, that's tied to the Baphomet. So you're satanizing your children by calling them kids. Don't do that. Your child is a son or a daughter. This is my daughter. This is my son. According to man's rules, according to God's rules. They're not kids. They're not goats. You see? We have been indoctrinated with all these hey man and hey peace and all the peace symbols and okay symbols, and calling people, all this slang, and all this slang is all satanic. Satanism is around you 24/7. I keep telling you guys that. Believe Jesus, believe God and the Holy Spirit, that when he says everything is rotten, everything is rotten. I mean, he's telling us the truth. So don't call your children kids. You can do as you see fit. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to call my children kids. It does slip out on me too, so we just got to work at it, but it's best if you don't do that. And here's another code that they're doing now, okay? This is called under 18 U.S.C. 981, civil forfeiture. This one says that they can pretty much steal your property if they say that it's involved in any type of crime. Okay, look at number 1. The following property is subject to forfeiture to the United States. Okay. Now, it doesn't say the United States of America. It says the United States. Now, I told you in a previous video, I think the birth certificate explained, if you want to go take a look at that video, it tells you that the United States is a company. It's a corporation under 28 U.S.C. 3002-15A, and it's a big A. It's a federal corporation. So what they're telling you here, that the following property is subject to forfeiture. They get to steal your property, and you agree to it because you are being a federal employee of the company called the United States. Okay? Any property real, personal involved in a transaction attempting a violation of all these codes or whatever. Any property real and personal within the jurisdiction of the United States, which is the zip codes, which is the house number on your house, which is the car registration. You gave it to DMV when you registered the vehicle to have that stupid license plate. So through the zip code, they put you in the jurisdiction of the United States, which is, United States is a 10-mile area over there in Washington. But you being in California with a zip code, now you're in Washington. You're using the birth certificate, you're in Washington. You're using the Social Security number, you're in Washington. You registered your car, you're in Washington. You got a state ID, you're in Washington. You see? They got you. They got you. So basically, Washington is saying to the counties, to the police, supposedly, yeah, if you need money, just go steal it from them. That's okay. They don't need it. We got rights, and no, you don't have no rights. You're my slave. You're so stupid. You don't even know that you're my slave. What the hell are you talking about? You ain't got no rights. You got privileges. And you know what? Right now, we're going to suspend your privilege, and we're going to steal your car. We're going to steal your car. We're going to steal your money. We're going to steal that RV. We're going to steal whatever we want, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're so stupid. You don't even know by using the number that we pretty much forced on you as a baby, and it's stolen property that you're allowing us to do this one right here because you're dumb and you won't read the damn law. You don't know that you're a man or a woman and you have rights under God. And now we're putting this psyop called the Mandela effect, and you're dumb and you just going along with it. Look under here, D. Any property, real or personal, which represents or is traceable to the gross receipts obtained directly or indirectly from a violation of Section 666, A1, related to federal program fraud. So they put the devil code right in there, 666. See? These codes are demonic. This legal stuff is demonic. It's man's code. It's the devil code. Your law is not in the codes. Your law is the Bible, supported by the U.S. Constitution. Actually, it's not even the U.S. Constitution. It's the Constitution of the supposed state that you were born in. It's actually the landmaster. So you were born in California state, not the state of California, because even that puts you in their jurisdiction over there in Washington, because they're playing trickery with these words. Okay, let's look at this one thing. Any property, now let's look at A, 1A. Any property, real or personal, involved in a transaction or attempted transaction in violation of, and then they refer to another code. So now you got to go look up that damn code to find out what the hell they're saying here. Look at C. Look at all the codes they put into C. Now, how the heck you're supposed to track all this junk down? They purposely make things vague so they get to rob you. Where in my circumstances, thou shalt not steal, period. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not bear false witness, period. Thou shalt not covet, period. There is no, you got to go over here and you got to look at this other code to figure out what I'm saying. And there's none of that junk. They're deliberately making it hard so you don't understand, so you can go ahead and hire one of their damn bar attorneys, which is his first assignment is to the court, because he's the officer of the court, and his first assignment is to steal your money and throw you under the bus. That's what he's there to do, to get you to waive all your rights. So it's just a waste of time. You have to be your own attorney. Now, of course, they're going to make things hard. Okay, it is what it is. I'm not saying this stuff is easy. That's why I never go. That's why I never go to them courts. I'm a man under Genesis 1:26. I have authority over dominion over the land. I'm one of the owners. Actually, not the owners. I'm what's called a steward. There's 6 billion people, according to the elites, and they're killing a lot of us off, but there's 6 billion people that are part stewards of the earth. Now, only a man or a woman that knows he's a man or a woman can make that claim. Because if you're a U.S. citizen, a taxpayer, an obligor, a defendant, a plaintiff, if you're what's the other one? If you're an individual, all these other person, all these other names they give you, and you accept it like, okay, no. You're a driver, because they're when you're supposed to be driving the car, that's a commercial term. So now you fall under their jurisdictions, under the fellow employee of the United States company. See, I'm not a driver. What are you doing driving this car? Well, first off, this is an automobile. Second of all, I'm not a driver. And third, I'm going to need your name, your badge number, and your surety bond number. Because before we start talking here and you start trying to contract with me with your little yellow ticket there, or your little pink ticket or whatever, I'm going to need the information, because, I need to know whether you're going to uphold the Constitution or not, because you can't have that badge and that gun without that Constitution, because you're standing there with the authority of me and billions of other guys like me. That's supposedly why you have that badge and that gun. Now, if you're there as an imposter, then I'm going to need that information so I can go file it here and here and here, just to make sure, I might not want you to be my public servant anymore because you're breaking the laws. And me being the government, I'm going to have to make sure that you don't do that anymore because you're not only harming me, the public, you're harming my fellow man out there. You see? And under the Fifth Amendment, I have the right to remain silent, and which doesn't admit guilt, so I'm going to go ahead and execute that right now. Here, read this paper. See, if you write everything down, you can actually enforce the Fifth Amendment to not speak because that's what they're trying to trip you up and get you to self-incriminate. So you don't want to do that. You hand them a piece of paper through the window, tell them, hey, everything you're going to ask is on this piece of paper. If you don't understand it, call your supervisor. Officer 1. California Penal Code. I forget what the Penal Code is, but it's in that birth certificate explained video. It's in there. I think it's in the description or inside of the information about the video. You see? Only a supervisor can arrest you. The cop that pulls you over, that guy, he's not supposed to get off his parking lot. This is provided that you're in California, like I am. He's not supposed to get off his parking lot. What the hell are you doing off your parking lot? Trying to pull me over using that's a misdemeanor when they use their emergency lights. It's a misdemeanor against them because they're indicating that that's an emergency. So when you ran the red light or you turned without using a blinker or some nonsense or you don't have a seatbelt on or some crap like that, that's not an emergency. There's no harm being done to anyone. Well, you violated the state of California. Well, where's that man called the state of California? Where's he at? Because I have a right under the Constitution to face my accuser. Where's that vato at? Because I'm going to need to talk to that guy called the state of California. You need to bring his ass over here so I can see why he's telling me that I need his seatbelt or all this other crap. You see, you got me confused. You think I'm your fellow employee under the United States company, 28 USC 3002-15A, but I'm not. I'm a man as defined under Genesis 1:26, and I have authority over you. And you know what? I don't really like how you're doing your job here, so I'm going to have to go over here to this other department and start filing some paperwork if you keep harassing me. You see? You got to know what you're saying. Study these codes. I just want to put this together because, I feel for the children that are going without food. I mean, those people there are basically, the food stamp program, you're basically their slaves and you only have privileges. So that's why they're able to just cut you off and do as they do. It's terrible, but nonetheless, the baby doesn't know that. I mean, you're the mother and, I know you have a hard time, or the father, and you guys are having hard times and stuff, and it sucks. You're trying to find jobs, you're trying to do whatever you can to make ends meet, and it's just rough out there. But that's why I'm telling you that Jesus is so important. Get under the protection of our Lord Jesus Christ. Read the Bible. Turn to God. Don't abandon God, because it seems like if this is happening to you, you need God now more than ever. See, I was on that stuff, but I would thank God He put me in a position where I don't need their stuff no more. Plus, I really can't mess with that number no more. I've already made a clean break. You know what? that's not my number. It's stolen property. It belongs to the Queen. I really can't use that number. I'm not going to go to any of your Humpty Dumpty kangaroo courts because I don't belong in there. I have no rights in there. I'm not going to sit there and argue something that doesn't belong to me in the first place. When you send me the contract, I have 3 days in which to cancel it. Any contract that they force you on. Now, this is one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is, like I say, this is not legal advice. This is just a dude talking and giving you heads up. By all means, if they stop you on the side of the road and that dude's got a gun and he's starting getting fidgety and sign that ticket, sign it. Don't get hurt and shot and dead over trying to prove your rights, because, your life is way more important than trying to prove to this vato, because they know what they're doing. The police know what they're doing. And even if they don't, they know they're violating rights and they're violating the law left and right. They know what's going on. A lot of them quit the force, and a lot of them, kind of don't like it, but they're caught between a rock and a hard spot. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of friends that are police officers. They go to the same church I do, and I really don't talk to them too much about their job because, it's kind of a touchy little thing there, so I kind of stay away from it. But I have friends that are police, believe it or not. Of course, I don't really tell them what my position is because, like I say, You know, I'm kind of on the other side of the fence. I don't have a problem with police, but that's a hard job because they're getting pressure from the public, us, and then they're getting pressure from above, which is their captains and their superiors. And what do? Do they break the law to bring in the revenue because that's what the superiors are telling them, or do they obey the law, which is, you know, obey the Constitution, which is there for our protection? You know, what do they do? So it's a very difficult job. So don't necessarily throw all kind of rocks at the police, man, because that's a rough gig, man. It's a rough gig to be in that spot. You know, if anything, man, we got to pray for the police departments and the actual police officers and people with authority like that, because they have a rough job, man. Anyway, look, I just put this together real quick. You know, hopefully this information will help some of you guys, you know, and like I say, try to move on it as quick as possible, because these guys have a tendency, once something hits the airwaves, they go and change it. Oh, one last thing. You're going to want to look up these two laws, or these two things that you can use. One is the grandfather clause, okay? The grandfather clause. I'll see if I can put a link in the description. I'll go and find it and throw it in there. So I'll take you right to it. The grandfather clause says that if today you applied for food stamps and you're approved today, which would be June 24th or 23rd, 2016, and then tomorrow they go and change the law, you're already grandfathered in. This already applies. Homeless, and you're homeless, but you have to put the grandfather clause on there. So when you're signing your documents, you got to put somewhere on those papers, this contract is the grandfather clause applies to this contract, something like that. The grandfather clause. And then you want to put, also, look up this one, the ironclad clause. Ironclad says that you can't change the contract. And the reason why you're going to want to couple those together is because the grandfather says that if you had a law today which was valid, and then they go and change the law tomorrow, it doesn't matter. The law applies to you today because you already made the contract today. The ironclad clause says, on top of that, you're going to put an ironclad, which means you can't change the contract. You can never change it until you're out of it. Okay, so you want to put the ironclad right behind it. So you can put something to the effect of this contract, okay, grandfather clause and ironclad clause applies to this contract. And you write that in there somewhere, like somewhere, like indiscreet, you know, don't make it all obvious. And then you sign the bottom, you see. But you put it on their paperwork, and then you make sure you get a copy of the paper. You know, be nice, be polite to the people helping you, and la 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 la. But make sure you get a copy of the paperwork. Another way to get a good copy is take a picture of it. So when before you submit it, you write everything in there and you take pictures of all the papers you're submitting. Now that's a pain because welfare's got a gang of them. You're pretty much turning in a big book. But it's going to help you out to know what you gave them and what was written and all that stuff, so you have proof later. Okay. Anyway, these are just some tips. Hopefully, this will help some of you guys out there. Good luck. God bless, and I'm going to be praying for you guys, man, because I know that, I know you guys might be up against it, especially if you don't have food to give to your children, your sons and daughters. Anyway, this is Real Talk. I'm going to go ahead and hop off this thing, and I'm going to catch up with you guys next time.